She knew before you did. Your grandmother knew. Before you could speak, before you could walk, before the world tried to shrink you into something small and ordinary. She saw it. She held your tiny hand, and she felt something the rest of the room could not explain. A warmth, a weight, a knowing that settled deep in her chest like a stone dropped into still water. She never said it out loud. Maybe she couldn't find the words. Maybe the world wasn't ready. Maybe she was protecting you from a destiny so large it would have terrified you. But she prayed over you in the quiet. She whispered things to God in the dark that no one else heard. She carried a secret about who you truly are. And tonight, God is releasing it. If you are watching this right now, you did not stumble here by accident. The algorithm did not choose you. Your curiosity did not bring you. Something older than both of those things pulled you to this exact moment. You are a chosen one. Not chosen because you are perfect. Not chosen because your life has been easy. But chosen because there is something inside you that refuses to die. Something that has survived every storm, every betrayal. Every night you cried alone and wondered if any of this was worth it. Your grandmother saw that fire, and what she carried in secret is about to be placed in your hands. Stay here, don't move, because what you are about to hear will change how you see yourself forever. If your grandmother meant everything to you, or if you felt her love even from the other side, type "released" in the comments right now, and subscribe so God's message keeps finding you. Part 1. The secret she carried in silence. She watched everyone else miss it. That is the part that stayed with her. She sat at family gatherings. She watched the room laugh and talk and move through life like nothing extraordinary was present. And she would look at you, just you, and something would shift behind her eyes. A softness, a certainty, a grief almost, because she knew what was coming for you would not be simple. Chosen ones are never born into easy lives. They are born into the fire, into the families that needed healing, into the generations that were broken so that one soul, you, would rise up and break the cycle. Your grandmother understood cycles. She lived through things she never spoke about at dinner. She carried wounds from her own mother, from her own silence, from a world that told women like her to be small, be quiet, be grateful for crumbs. But she refused to pass that curse to you. In her own quiet way, she fought for you before you even knew there was a war. She prayed differently when she prayed for you. Not the routine prayers, the deep ones, the ones that come from the belly, the ones that shake the spiritual atmosphere and move things in the invisible world. She said your name to God like it was sacred, because she knew it was. She saw the sensitivity in you, and she did not call it weakness. She saw the way the world affected you more than others, and she did not call it a problem. She saw the loneliness you carried even in a crowded room, and she called it by its real name: preparation. You were being set apart, separated, shaped, and she kept that secret because the world would have laughed. The world always laughs at what it cannot understand. The world laughed at Joseph before it bowed to him. The world dismissed David before he killed giants. Your grandmother was not laughing. She was praying, and those prayers did not disappear when she left this earth. They are still moving, right now, tonight, in your direction. Part 2. Why your life has felt different. You have always known something was different about you. Don't deny it. There have been moments, quiet moments, lonely moments, where you looked at the people around you and thought, why do I feel everything so deeply? Why can I not just be normal? You felt things others walked past without noticing. You sensed energy in rooms before anyone spoke. You knew when someone was lying, even when their words sounded perfect. You dreamed things and then watched them happen. You loved people with a fierceness that sometimes scared even you. This is not a disorder. This is not anxiety. This is not overthinking. This is not you being too sensitive or too intense or too much. This is the mark. Chosen ones carry a heightened awareness because they were designed to perceive what ordinary eyes miss. You were built with spiritual antennas. You were wired to feel the frequency of truth underneath the noise of the world. Your grandmother had it too. That is why she recognized it in you. It runs in the bloodline like a quiet river, invisible to most. But those who carry it can feel it move beneath everything they do. But here is what no one told you. The sensitivity was never your weakness. It was your weapon. It was your gift. It was the thing they needed to confuse you about so you would never use it with full power. Because when a chosen one understands their gift, the world shifts. You have been in a season of stripping. Everything that was not real has been falling away. Relationships that were comfortable but not aligned. Opportunities that looked good but were not your assignment. Versions of yourself that were built for other people's comfort, not your calling. It has felt like loss. It has felt like failure. But your grandmother would look at this season, and she would smile. Because she has seen this before, she has lived this before. She knows what comes after the stripping, the revealing, and you are standing right at the edge of it. Part 3. The prayers that outlived her death doesn't cancel a prayer. Let that land. When your grandmother left this earth, she did not take her intercessions with her. She did not take the years of crying out to God on your behalf. She did not take the nights she lay awake asking heaven to protect you, to guide you, to save you from the paths that would destroy you. Those prayers are in the atmosphere. They are alive. They are active. They are working right now in ways you cannot fully see yet. Think about the times you should have broken completely, but didn't. Think about the situations that should have destroyed you, but somehow you walked out. Think about the moments when there was no logical reason for you to survive, to recover, to rise. And yet here you are. That was not luck. That was the inheritance she left you. Not money, not property, not things you can hold in your hands, but a spiritual covering so thick that darkness has had to negotiate with it every time it came for you. She prayed that you would find your purpose. You are finding it. She prayed that the confusion would lift. It is lifting. She prayed that one day you would stop running from who you are and finally, walk into the fullness of what God placed inside you before you were born. Tonight is part of that answer. This message is part of that answer. You did not find this by accident. You were sent here because there is something you needed to hear, a confirmation, a permission, a reminder that the secret your grandmother carried was never meant to stay secret forever. It was meant to be revealed at the right time. And the right time is now. God is releasing what she knew. He is placing it in your spirit tonight. And once it lands, once you truly receive it, you will never be able to go back to shrinking yourself again. Part 4. What heaven has been waiting for you to know you were chosen before you were born. Not as a reward. Not because you earned it, but because something in the divine plan required exactly who you are. Your specific pain, your specific gifts, your specific story, to accomplish something this generation desperately needs. Your trauma was not a mistake. Your detours were not accidents. The relationships that shattered you were teaching you something about yourself that comfortable love never could. The seasons of isolation were not punishment. They were protection. They were formation. They were God building something in you in the hidden place that could not have been built in the spotlight. Your grandmother knew this. She knew you would go through the fire. She knew you would question everything. She knew there would be nights when you felt completely abandoned by heaven, and the silence would feel deafening. And she prayed for those nights specifically. She asked God to hold you in the moments you could not feel Him. She asked for angels to stand guard around your mind when the darkness tried to move in permanently. She asked for a thread of hope to always remain, even when everything else was cut away. You found that thread. Every time. You always found it. Because it was stitched into you by the prayers of someone who loved you enough to carry your destiny as if it were her own. Now hear this clearly. The season of hiding is over. The season of second-guessing yourself, over. The season of playing small to make others comfortable, over. The season of wondering whether you are really who you sense yourself to be, completely, over. You are standing at a threshold tonight. On one side is everything you have always been told about yourself, the limitations, the doubts, the labels. On the other side is the truth your grandmother always knew. Step through. Stop looking back at who they said you were. Walk into who God always knew you to be. Your grandmother carried the secret so you would be ready when it was released. You are ready. The evidence is in how you have survived. The evidence is in how you are still here, still seeking, still open, still standing. Your tomb is empty now. Everything that was buried, your purpose, your power, your real identity, it is rising. You cannot stop it. And neither can anyone who tried to convince you that you were ordinary. You are not ordinary. You never were. You came from a lineage of people who prayed through impossible things. You carry their resilience in your blood. You carry their faith in your bones. And you carry a calling that has been authenticated by both heaven and by the quiet knowing of a woman who loved you before the world had the chance to wound you. Tonight, receive this. Receive the secret she kept for you. Receive the identity that God is releasing right now into your spirit. You are chosen. You are covered. You are called. And this season, this specific season you are in right now, is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of the chapter that everything else was preparing you for. Your grandmother would look at you today, and she would not see what you have been through. She would see what you are walking into, and she would smile. Now you walk. Walk out of the old version. Walk out of the doubt. Walk out of the fear that maybe you imagined all of this. You did not imagine it. It is real, and it is yours. If this message reached your soul tonight, subscribe right now, because heaven is not done speaking to you. The next message is already waiting, and you were chosen to receive it too.